Welcome to Constitution Podcast. My name is Douglas V. Gibbs. This is an extension of Constitution Radio on KMET 1490 AM, Saturdays from 1 to 3 Pacific at KMET1490am.com. Recently, I sat down and had a beer with a friend of mine who served in the United States Marine Corps. I served in the Navy, so I thought it was funny that I was the one who provided the ride to get him to the location. Here in California, we're still not allowed to eat indoors, and so we were on an outside patio at a bar having a beer. I wound up with a slight sunburn by the end of the day, and at one point we were just talking about our military service, and a gentleman that was within earshot bought our beers for us and thanked us for our service, which was a wonderful thing. But that's not the reason for this particular episode, but it was something that my friend brought up. He was raised in the Bronx, and in a very tight-knit society where it was all about the neighborhood, and you really didn't know what went on outside the world. And to be a New Yorker, to be in the Bronx, to be Puerto Rican, was to automatically be of a particular political ideology. And the other political ideology was just assumed to be racist and things like that. So my friend, as he got older, he started realizing that there was something called a Constitution out there, and he started studying it, looking into it, and he said what really hooked him about it, what really made him fall in love with the U.S. Constitution was three words. Three words in Article 3, Section 3, Clause 2, which reads, and it's regarding the a part of it that addresses treason, and it says this: the Congress shall have power to declare punishment of treason. So for those of you who think that that Constitution says that punishment of treason is death, that's not true. It says that Congress has the power to choose the punishment of treason, which currently it is death. But no attainder of treason shall work corruption of blood or forfeiture except during the life of the person attainted. Corruption of blood are those three words. Corruption of blood is the three words that caught my friend's attention. And when he looked up the word, what he decided it meant, and he's essentially right, was what my father has done, good or bad, doesn't influence me. There is no corruption of blood. I am my own man. I am independent. And what happens to me in life are based on my choices, not because of him. From a technical sense, corruption of blood, or basically saying that there is no corruption of blood, basically means that that the crimes of the father cannot be inherited from other relatives. That is, the sins of the father will not be legally visited on the children. A person can be punished during his lifetime, but punishment ceases with his death. Now, this is important because it goes beyond just my friend, the individual, thinking, okay, the Constitution itself says I am my own man, and his crimes or his father's crimes don't affect me. Those are not my crimes. It goes beyond that. Right now we have a situation in the United States in which there is an accusation of systemic racism, and that there must be reparations paid. That white privilege and exist, and that white people must pay reparations to black citizens for the sins of their fathers as slave owners. Never mind the fact that in 1860, only 1.7% of whites in the entire United States actually owned slaves, and that by percentage of population, more free black persons in the United States own slaves than white persons. Never mind that. Never mind the fact that, as the 1619 Project erroneously claims that Africans were stolen from Africa and brought to the North America, and so America was begun on a slave culture. Well, they weren't stolen from Africa; they were bought in Africa, and the sellers were, other Africans. So if you want to be angry with the white slave traders, you might want to be also angry with the African slave sellers. That all said, going back to the Constitution, there shall be no corruption of blood. Now, while it's talking about treason, I really believe this goes all the way across the board. If the founding fathers believed that corruption of blood should not be in existence when it came to treason, in other words, the the sins of the father would not be visited upon his children, then why would reparations be an acceptable thing? And I would ask this: of all those people demanding reparations, and all those people who are willing to give them, and those of us who aren't, how many of those white people in your lifetime have actually owned slaves, and how many of the black people in America demanding these reparations at one time were slaves? We're talking about the sins of the past, ancestors. And you can describe it any way you want, but the fact is, the Constitution says there shall be no corruption of blood. In other words, the sins of the father shall not be visited upon the children. Because that's a ridiculous thing to do. Why would I be guilty of something that somebody else did? And why should you receive benefits because there was damage done to somebody who wasn't you? So corruption of blood is in the Constitution, Article 3, Section 3, Clause 2. I read it earlier for you. There shall be no corruption of blood in the United States, which means there should be no reparations. From a constitutional standpoint, that would be an illegal thing to do. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time on Constitution Podcast. Keep on coming to youtube.com/Douglas V. Gibbs for more videos in the near future where we take the U.S. Constitution and apply them to today's issues. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time. United we stand, combined we kick butt. God bless America, my friends. God bless you. Where we go one, we go all. Bye-bye now.